Hey, so we're back again with the Polyend play, and this round we're focusing on using the sequencer to make really nice melody lines, because there's some nice features in here, like we've got the little mini piano, we've got the piano roll feature where we can use to control our melodies a little bit more. We'll talk a little bit about scales and then some of the nice features with randomize and chance to actually make a really nice melody on this machine. So let's get straight into it. Alright, we're back with the Polyend play and we've got a fresh project loaded, and I'll just load the IDM music one onto here just as a reference, but this one we're really going to focus on using the Polyend play to make our melodies. So a really nice way to start is if you just tap this view here, it gives you a bit of a piano roll. So you can play the sound, you've got your different octaves up the top, so you play different high notes. And with that, I just picked something that's a little bit in the middle. Like usually what I try and do is start with a sound that isn't too chaotic, like a piano, maybe just a C, and that's how I start constructing all my melody lines so they all work nicely together per note, and then I start breaking that up. So how do I start doing that? And really, the way I like to do it is I select all four and then hold View Master Effects. So if you hold that, it goes into a piano roll. So if we scroll around, you see these red bars. So if we go that C and then we scroll up, you'll see there's another red bar. But I don't really like how you have to scroll around like that. And this is where I think setting up a scale straight away is really useful. So if you've got a bit of music knowledge, you'll probably be able to pick something that's a little bit more inclined to you. But for me, like basic, like major scale, that's happy. Minor scale could be sad, but there's a whole bunch of different emotions here. And one thing I like about the Polyend play is you can experiment with all these on the fly. So you can write something and be like, hey, this sounds a bit interesting, but let's try it with different scales. So what we want to do is we're going to turn it on. And then I want to select a major scale. As you can see, it's condensed it down now. So you can see the entire scale here. And all these notes are going to work well with each other. So you're not going to play wrong notes. There might be a bit of kerfuffle, but you're not really going to hit the really wrong notes, so to speak. And you can leave it in C, but that's just what this red bar starts at. So you could have F, which could be up here a little bit. And that's the way that we can start moving around. But that's enough of that. This is giving us a really nice playing field. So if I was to just plot something in, like say 1, 4, 5, 1, super basic. All right, that's a bit high. What we can do is we can also hold Shift and select the notes, come up to here to note, and then we can scroll down and bring that down. So maybe I make this the bass line, so I can drop it down to 24. Cool, that's in a really nice range. So if we were to just jump out of this view to see what the Polyend's done, it's put it all in this row up the top. So it makes it really nice to organize it. But when we start stacking sounds, it's just a little big thing to consideration. If I put a note like that, so that would be C and that would be E, we'll go back into the view. If I hold this one, so we can see it's an E, this one's a C. If we go, whoops, we'll select all those channels again. But if we were to put a note to say like this second melody line will come this way, we can plot one in there. If we come back and just have a check, we can see that's the C and then that's the F. So we've taken that second line and it's dropped down. Sometimes it will flip it. So it'll go by the stack and start from the lowest note and work its way up and put it there. Don't have that too often, but just keep that in mind, because what we're going to be doing is creating lines that work really nice together. So we're making chords, but those chords are sort of like different melody lines are playing in tandem, so sort of that polyrhythm and all that good stuff. But let's get back into making something interesting, because 1, 4, 5, 1, everyone does it. Let's make our own foundation. So I'm just going to be like maybe something like this is where we can start playing as well, because it's like you can sort of see how the shape of the sound is going. So maybe I add like maybe a step in note here. I'll come down a little bit and put a note there. If we have a look, I might just move that one up so it sits with the rest. So it's created a nice shape that we can work with. You can see how it flows and goes down like that. So if we were to start adding on top of this, like start making chords, we can program a very simple chord by just going like that. So it's just going by So I know this is going to play a major chord because with C major, the first note is always going to play a major. If I was to do something like that, I know that second line is going to play a minor. And that's really where music theory and like these hardware devices, if you've got music theory knowledge backing you up, you're going to understand a little bit more of what's going on. But I think with the Polyend play, like you can just experiment and try different things. Like what does this sound like? Sounds interesting compared to we can just shift one of these notes around to bring it around. Sounds different again. So I think if I did that, it sounds like that because this note here actually is this note here. So you can just experiment and try different things. And I really do recommend like you have different levels of complexity. Like this line here, I've considered my high complex one. Maybe I augment this one and then give this one a different note. So this melody line is sort of shifting down while this one's going up. And then I can bring a note up, say like that. And then maybe add like a pedal tone. So I can come down here and maybe something like that. It's probably conflicting too much with the one up here, so. And now I can shift it around. So I can start mucking around with like the different layouts. Like I could have a arpeggio here, so something that's like super fast, like does something like that. But really it's just constructing different layers and that. And then once you're done, once you've started programming everything like that, I'll just put him back down here just for reference. Come back out. We've got our entire melody structure ready. Like we have our different layers. So I could start going, hey, I like this line, but I might change the sample. Probably something like that. We'll keep that one and then maybe give this pedal tone. Something a little bit cutesy, or if I just want to like start blasting it. It's going to give us a variety of stuff that we can start mucking around with, and it's like we can program chords in here. Like you can keep some of the notes the same and then it's going to be a chord structure, but really this is how I like using the play, where I have different melody lines going at once and they're all interacting with each other but all supporting each other at the same time. Alright, we got something interesting going here and we didn't even need to use that fill tool to put in a chord structure, but this is where I'm at the point where I start like moving information around, because I think with this piano roll it does a really good job to get information on the page and we can sort of see where the information is and how it relates to each other, not just blocks on the grid, but like how everything is moving around. But we can use this to start moving information around. So like say with this third line here, I've got that pedal tone and I want to move another version of it. I can hold the button down, wait until it flashes and then bring it over here. And then it's got the same information as this button here. And then say I want to raise the note up a little bit more, and then if we were to play that, we can start augmenting this stuff. And if you haven't watched a drum video, I do go through a bunch of different ways to like copy and paste and move this data around just in this structure here. So we've got like things like, see how it's got the little version underneath the big version. So if we hold shift, we can paste. Same with fill, we can shift delete. There's ways that we can like copy and paste, so like so undo redo, like just in case you make a mistake. You have access to, like say we wanted to copy a bunch of these, I'm just going to hit copy, and then if I hold down here and then go paste, we paste that block around as well. Say you wanted to draw select, you can hold shift and then use your finger, just pushing down the button, you can draw it out like that. But instead of trying to color in like a full block to like copy it, if you hold shift and then press 2 areas, so I'm just going to do that, it's going to make a selection box for you. So we can copy and paste that way. And really that's nice to start moving information around. I'm going to save more of that about expanding the loop, which is the next video in this series, especially with expanding out the information with the like 64 steps. But really, this one is just using the 16 steps to go through how I program melody lines. So with all that out of the way, what are some other ways we can start making our melodies? Like we do have the way of, we can select up here, come up to the fill tool. So we've got our chords, and then we've got a whole bunch of different ways that we can record our sounds. So what you do is hit fill. If there's a synth file, it will populate out the sounds for you. So this is the way that you can use a generator to do it. But I think another cool way that we can start bringing generators into here, I'm just going to use these two channels to demonstrate, but it's having two lines that sort of interact and counteract with each other and bounce off and make something that's really unique. So what I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to select them, and I'm just going to give them odd numbers. So I usually like a 5, maybe a 12. 12 is usually good. So with those two selected, you can see that they're off tilted. So if I was to just play, they're going to run out of sync, but over time they'll come into sync and go out of sync again. So it's just different ways for the sound to connect but create longer melody lines. So I'm just going to start adding some stuff to it. So let's pick a sound. Probably something like that. And if we do, yeah, cool. But this is where we can start using generators. So what I might do is I'm just going to select this one, and what I want to use is the chance knob up here. So this is the like pure randomness one, but this one allows us to manipulate it over steps. So it's like always, some of the time that can happen, so between 1 and 100%, but this play to skip, usually what I like to do is go play, skip 3 and play 1. And that means every 4 times this iterates through, this is going to be different depending on what we put in here. So I'm just going to put on octave up. So it's going to do an octave jump. So we're going to keep going through, and I might just change that back to 3-1. So 4 times, because 4 playthroughs, it's going to do something. And with the next one, so this line here, I might use a Euclidean fill because Euclideans are fun. And we just want a number less than 12, because if you use anything more than 12, it's just going to fill it in completely. So maybe cool. So you can start hearing how those elements are coming in and out, and I'm going to use a chance on this one too. Same thing, but maybe play 2, skip 2. And then what I might do is change note. So this is going to pick a random note, but because we've set up that scale to start with, it's going to try and play in line with what the scale is. So if I just play, and just by those two little elements, they are playing really nice together. So what I might do, because I have my major thing coming in here, I want these to sort of sit in the background. So what I might do is I'm just going to add some filter. So just mute it a little bit. And then we'll just drop the volume a little bit so it's in the background. And if we just bring off, and we can start filling with things together, but this here is a really nice way to have extended melody lines, but it's just really two little elements that are bouncing off each other. All right, so we got a main element, and then we got this element that's all playing with each other. I think this is a really good time to start spreading everything out. Now that we had that original chord tone when we programmed these, I've just gone through and changed up some of the elements. So that was the original soundbar. If we play this all together, see how it's occupying more of that space? So really this is like maybe just changing the elements by an octave. So coming up here and then moving things up and down by 12. You can change the sound, which is probably going to be in a different octave anyway. But you're going through and iterating and changing the process. And when you get to a place where you really like the idea that you got, so like down here, I might add some delay. So going through changing them up, but that's just where we can start using this randomize as well. Like this is using some of the chance stuff so we can start randomizing. I might just drop some texture onto it because that's just going to apply like filters and just bump some of the stuff around. So just and because they're off tilted, they're going to create some really interesting bits together. So what I might do is apply some texture up here as well, just because it's going to add a little bit extra. Another way that we can add randomize or more live play stuff is if we hit live play, and then I can start moving. So that first note probably needs a little bit more tweaking. And then if we turn, we can see how that live play is affecting that value there. So just different ways that we can augment the melody, bring elements together. So usually I'm trying to mix at this stage and just making sure that all the elements, like there's nothing that's too bright or punching out that shouldn't be there. Elements are in their place and they all sort of have their own agency to come out and showcase what they're doing. So I'm in a pretty happy spot right here, and I think some of the little elements that will help you expand out some of the sounds that you're trying to work on is, like we did change the track length down here, but you can come up to here and change the track speed. So say I could turn it up just a little bit faster, you'll see that one going a little bit more crazy than everything else. But you can create some interesting ratios that way. I didn't really touch more on like the actual programming of the sound because really this was about the sequencer and plotting in a melody line. I didn't really say that we do have 64 steps that we can play with, but really I just wanted to showcase that we can create a little block that has a lot more than just what's within those 16 steps, like especially this area here, because in the next video where we go through how to expand out the loop, definitely going to show you how to start bringing this information across, copy and pasting data and augmenting it to create fuller, more longer bars that we can start playing with, and bringing some of these elements to create really long randomizers piece. Like we could have one pattern that's just doing everything that we want to do. So what I think now, because we did make a cool little melody, let's add a bit of a beat behind it. I did pick an IDM sound, so we'll see what an IDM drum beat is going to do to this. It might make it a little bit crazy. And then what I can do is just make it a little bit more. Alright, so I've done some tweaks. I've just added a chance to finish off this little beat just so there's some variance in that main melody line. But if we play all this together, like we got our drums and we have all that stuff that we learned about today to make a really cool sound. And what I might do is just do some form of live play so I can use this as the background track of this video. So I hope that's given you a bit of food for thought, because really this is a nice powerhouse for our drums and melodies, and these couple of videos is just to get you with the process of plotting things into that 16 bar loop and think about how to make something that's melodically sound as well as drum sound with the previous video, because the next video we're going to look at how do we expand this all the way out, so using the full 64 steps and really start controlling some of the values up here to create longer sequences that play more than just 4 bars using 64 steps. So if you did enjoy this one and you think it will help someone else out, definitely give it that thumbs up. It does tell the algorithm to put this content out to other people. People are probably looking at the play and wanting to get the most out of it, so definitely do that. And I do feel like I do glaze over a few of these subjects, so please feel free to leave a comment down in the description. Any sort of questions or queries, like I'm happy to go down there and talk about the play a little bit more. And yes, this is a continuing series, so this is part 3. There's a few more parts to come along, so if you're looking for more Polyend play content, I look forward to seeing you next time.